When did you recognize that, you know, I think I've got a gift and it's not just a joke? When you know, when all with some of your friends falling off, when did you realize?
I realized it in junior high school, middle school, when I had a class battle, a singing battle with my 7th grade teacher.
Oh, goodness, this is only in America.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, but he was the coolest teacher ever. And I remember him like it was yesterday, Mr. Davis, my 7th grade science teacher, man. And we had a sing-off.
Oh, goodness.
Because he was crazy talented too. He played the saxophone, he played bass guitar, and he could sing. So he wanted to see if I was gonna be open to doing it. Just because we had a little time in class before the bell rung. And I found out that I had something because everyone, after every song we sung, it was like a surprise and clapping, you know, and it's crazy. And then I sung in high school, and that was pretty cool.
Now, I mean, that's amazing. But and I'm just trying to figure out, did as a guy singing, did you get other kids, other guys saying, oh, come on, you know, that's not for guys? Or did you get people that are like, wow, man, I wish I could sing like you? Or what was it, the reaction among your peers?
Well, the reaction was they was blown away. I could truly say that the reaction was unexpected. Like, wow, like you really can sing, man. And it wasn't a reaction of guys not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
It was more of a welcoming.
Okay.
And so and when I felt that was kind of, like I said, basketball was the first love. So that's what I was doing at the time. So no one looked at me as a singer. They just knew I could sing. Okay. And then basketball overshadowed it. So it was like, oh, we forgot that you could sing.
Okay.
Okay. So it was one of those things growing up. So I didn't really step into the profession of singing until after I graduated college and started going to different open mics and just kind of just letting it all out and singing whatever I thought that would fit the vocals.
Now, at that time, then, once you'd finished college, and I think that's the one thing that we always commend America, is that, you know, you get the opportunity to go to university, play sports, or perform. I mean, it's amazing. Did you think, oh, I can become a recording artist, or were you think, well, let me focus on getting a job and sing at the side? What was going through your mind at that stage?
At the time,
yeah,
it was to honestly get a job, but I found music again. And once I found that time, because it approached me literally, hand to God, literally, I was looking for a church because I had just moved from school to Charlotte, North Carolina. I was looking for a church to go to.
Okay.
This guy I had just passed the church. This guy was walking down the street, and he looks like he was going to the church that I just passed.
Okay.
And I turned around. I don't know why. I turned around and I asked the guy, I said, hey, do you know anything about this church right here? He said, yeah, man, it's a great church. I'm going there. Would you like to come? And I was like, yeah, because I was looking for a church to go to. Kid you not, we go to church. He introduced me to the people at church. Great people. After church, I take him. I was like, oh man, well, I appreciate it. So I took him to his apartment to drop them back off home. And we just started talking. I started playing some music that I recently had recorded. He was like, oh man, who is that, man? It sounds pretty good. I said, oh man, that's me. Thank you. And he was like, oh man, you should, I got a producer here that you should connect with.
What?
And he introduced us. Kid you not, he introduced us. And I never went back. After that, after I met the guy, his name is Mike Ink Davis, and Charlotte, North Carolina, I started like really, really professionally recording. Wow. And I never turned back because I was like, it found me again.
Wow. Like
I left it alone. I went off to school, a full scholarship, playing basketball. I said, that's it. This is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go play pro ball. no, since it didn't work out, and music fell back in my life again. So I was like, you know what? This time I'm not gonna let it get away. I'm gonna do everything I have to do to make this gift work into my favor too.
Okay. Now you skipped over briefly and said that you were recording stuff, and I'm thinking, now were you also able to write? Were you playing instruments? What were you doing apart from singing?
Oh, I was just writing. The producer he was actually the producer that
before you met Mike, because you had the tape.
Yes, before I met Mike, I was doing anytime I go back home to Albany and visit family, I go to the studio. That's how I knew the music was still there too. I just go to the studio. A buddy of mine's in Albany, Georgia, and his name is Mario Meadows. Platinum Sound Studio in Albany, Georgia, man. When I tell you, he always gave me a home to just come and be around music. Like when I didn't have anything to do, I didn't want to do anything else, I'd go and just sit around and listen to the artists that used to come in there, and hopefully he'll give me a chance just to play around on the microphone. Okay. Sometimes I go in there, play around on the microphone. He'd be like, man, let's record something. So he'll have his producers in there recording stuff for me. And then every time I came home from college, it would just kind of blossom. And I end up put a couple of songs together so I could just have it at school just to listen to. Okay. You know, just because. And that's where that came from. And so that's what I played the young guy that I met on the way to church. I played that for him, and he was like, oh man, I got a guy that'll help you out and could possibly help you as a career. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool.
Wow. Now, but you said you started to write. So, I mean, because as I said, and I think you're saying it very lightly. Yeah, I was writing stuff, and as if anyone could just write a song, you know. So, so it's not as easy as that. So, I mean, does the melody come? Does the lyrics come? I mean, what? I mean, because as I said,
well, prime example. I got some stuff pulled up. See, I always do this because just in case this happens. So, I have this track. Think if I have this track playing, right? Let me see if you can hear it. You can hear that?
Yeah. Stuff.
So,
yeah.
It's just a track to come in. I'm gonna let you see how it sounds. See how the track sounds. So you have a track.
Yeah.
Just have a track playing, and how I do, I like going off of the track because it's more of a comfort, because I feel like anybody could write down lyrics on a page, but if you don't have the rhythm in your head, it's kind of hard to fit the lyrics with the rhythm if you just writing. Because I could write my feelings down, I could write anything down, but when I get a track, it's like, okay, well, how can I make that fit? So I'd rather have the track first, just so I can soak in what I want to talk about. And and honestly, the message kind of comes from that, man. Wow. And I try to really put everyday life, like real things, to like relatable incidents and stuff like that into my writing, into my music, because of, I feel like people connect more when it's very authentic, you know?
Yeah.
So
now, I mean, it's interesting because for you, it meant you needed sort of a beat in the track. To others, you know, if they could play guitar or play the piano, they tend to play it, and the music. Right. You weren't tempted to try and learn an instrument during those days?
Only instrument that I played instruments in, I played the tuba in band. I always liked the bass. Okay. And I played drums growing up in the church as well too. So those are the only two instruments I only played. Okay. So, but I always wanted to get into learning how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And learning how to play the piano. So I'm gonna get around to it. So I can do some things, do a little different things. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we've got you. You know, you've met up with Mike now, and Mike's saying, okay, let's listen to what you've got. And is he looking at reproducing the stuff you recorded when you're back in Albany, or
no, man? It was like, hey, man, that's good, that's great, but I got something that I know you can do better. And I wanted to start off freshly new anyway. I didn't want to put anything out until it was ready. So I felt like it was ready.
So the question I have is that if you'd written stuff already, and he's like, okay, some nice songs, let me reproduce those ones, but you just discarded those songs. You didn't think they were up to scratch, just not the production, but just the fact you've written some songs.
No, like, what to me, I felt like they was at such a beginner stage because I wasn't really focused on it. It was just something for me to do the past time when I was home to pretty much perfect the craft and to start one at the same time. And so, and then when I got to Mike saw a different potential. And he was like, man, you should go out and start performing, because I never went out before then and actually performed live.
Okay.
And so, yeah, man, it's a story, brother. So I never performed live before until I met Mike, after I met Mike. Okay.
So you're performing in church and school, but not, people that know you kind of thing, but not like.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So he wanted you not only to work on your material, but he wanted you to work on your live performance as well.
He wanted me to work on the whole nine, the lack of the lack of confidence I had, because I never did it. It was like a new beginning for me. Like, okay, well, now this is gonna be the profession that I go after.
Wow.
So now I gotta turn this knob all the way up and go full force. And so I had to learn the business. I had to learn what not to do, how to do this, how to perform, how to hold a microphone, how to project. It was a lot of coaching and development and developing in that stage of my career, of starting the career. So by the time my first open mic, he was like, okay, well, at least you'll be somewhat ready for that type of stage. To showcase your talent, to see if people would come to see you, to see if people would either enjoy your vocals. Now that's going to be put to the test. And man, it was a beautiful sight, man.
How did they respond with your first open mic? What was the response?
The response from the crowd, the audience, man, was jaw dropping, man. Like, they were sitting there like, wow, like, this guy really can sing. We haven't heard nothing like this in a minute. Like, really can sing. And when I felt that type of energy, I did not want to go to anything else. I said, this is what I want. I said, this is how I can relate to people and people could relate to me. And the energy could be just back and forth, So what year did you meet up with Mike? Because I know the Voice was 2018. So what year did you meet up with him? Man, Mike was, I think that was 2012.
Wow, so it's quite so long. Okay, so that was a long journey of learning and perfecting and stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, brother.
So you work with, how long did you work with Mike then, from 2012 to when?
I still work with Mike.
Okay. I was gonna say, what's it for him?
Yeah, Mike, like this, like we still work together. We working on some stuff right now, man. It's crazy how long we've been. I'm talking. It's crazy, brother. It's crazy how long we've been just working at each other. And he's like, man, you still got it, man. You still got this about you. He said, brother, that artistry is crazy. Yeah. And so, we to this day we still working.
Okay, now that's good, because I'm thinking in my head, man, Mike's investing and doing all this stuff, and then you're like, okay, I made it big. See you, Mike, and you go to Timberland.
Oh, no, man. Okay. Yeah, Mike's still cool, man. Like,
okay.
It's crazy. Mike sent me a track with vocals, like just something that he pinned down day before yesterday.
Okay.
Days ago, man. Like, literally, he called me. He said, man, check your email. I just sent you something. I said, okay, cool. Listened to him, and I was like, man, what we doing? And like, man, I'm waiting on you.
Okay.
Yeah, so.